Let's first move into representatives from the ASUC reports. Now that we've called the meeting to order, I'd like to invite up first our UCPD representative. Okay, yeah, no, we should get there relatively soon. You're like right here.
You guys hear me? All right. Welcome back. I'll start off with some of the things that happened over the last 2 weeks. It actually hasn't been that bad. Usually this time of year, it's really bad for us because you guys are out and about, preparing to go home, preparing to go on breaks, and unfortunately, the people who prey on us are aware of our schedule. And over the last couple of weeks, we managed to only have 12 bikes stolen, and that's actually not that bad. 2 laptops, and there's been 2 phone thefts in a 2-week period. That's pretty awesome by normal standards for this time of year. Couple things to remind your constituents, if you can, for me. It's the shopping time of year for badness, and what they're looking for is items left in the vehicle. If you guys own a car, you want to make sure you tell people, lock it in a trunk or don't leave it in the car at all, because people are diligent at walking by and checking cars. They're checking to see if the car doors are locked. If your doors aren't locked or you forget to lock the door, they will go in and prowl. And what that means is they'll snoop around to see what's in your vehicle, any valuables or whatnot. So if you leave anything in your car at all, leave it in your trunk and try to make sure that you lock your vehicles. And I would strongly recommend this time of year, especially near our campus, when you're walking out and about, especially when it gets darker, that you guys are walking in packs. And what I mean by that is no less than 2, and that's being generous. I would say 3 or more, because unfortunately they do prey on us. They know that a lot of people are away from home from the first time, and they're not used to having to always look over their shoulders and watch their back. So please tell your constituents, we're getting the message out, but we need your help, because they're going to listen to you guys. They're going to receive the message. And it's more important to me about getting the message, and I don't really care who delivers it. I just want it out there. And I have a couple of things in the works that I've been throwing things out. If you guys haven't noticed, I've been reaching out and touching you guys a lot, trying to get a lot of efforts going together and showing you guys that, hey, I do mean it when we're a community. I want to work towards us becoming better. I've talked to some people about being a part of our sergeant's process. We have some other processes coming up where we're going to be hiring people, and I'd always like input from you guys so that way you actually have a voice in who your community representatives are. And my last thing, our little get-together, I want to thank you guys. I had a wonderful time. It was a blast, and I hope this is something that we can do on a regular basis and ongoing. Even once we're all gone and people have replaced us, I hope the people behind us can continue to carry the torch and keep that relationship that I think you guys should be recognized, because we've never had this type of relationship. I've been here for over 10 years, and I've talked to some of the people who were here before me. The UCPD and the ASUC has never had a relationship where we can actually talk to each other. And doesn't mean we're always going to agree, and we don't have to. That's okay. But the fact that we can talk and try to work things through, I think it's a great thing, and you guys should recognize that. And I appreciate you guys for it. And that's all I have, unless anybody has any questions for me.
Great. Senator Tan?
Hi, Sergeant Williams. Welcome back. Thank you for inviting us to your house. I just have with my conversation with the Chief of Police, she told me to talk to you more about the Trust Act and its implementation. I forgot your email. Can you just restate your email?
Absolutely. First off, thank you for coming. My email is really easy. It's my name, Joey, Joeyw, @berkeley.edu. And just remember, you guys have questions, be it law enforcement or not. I've had people call me for things that are nowhere remotely close to law enforcement. Don't hesitate to call. Like, if I know an answer or at least know somebody, I have a lot of resources on campus. I know a lot of people. I'd be more than happy to help out.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Senator Upadilla?
Hello, Sergeant. Well, this got real loud. I have a question about winter break. I know you said this is like the time where people go shopping, and I know like my fraternity last year was broken into, and there was like a rash of break-ins going on. like all down like Warring as well as like Piedmont. And I was wondering like if you had any advice for like, I guess just like communal housing units where people are going to be going home to stay more safe, especially for like the 1 or 2 people who are going to be left at the place. It's not really feasible for them to like protect everything. Just like what your advice was for that.
Absolutely. Like, if you're going to be that person in the sorority, fraternity, or housing unit where you're the only ones that's there and everybody else have went home, be vigilant. And what I mean by that, oftentimes we fear of offending people. If you see somebody walking in and you clearly don't recognize them, they don't appear to be a student, there's nothing wrong with calling us and saying, hey, look, this could be a student, but I'm not sure. Could you check it out? And we would be more than happy to come, and if it checks out it's a student, then hey, no harm, no foul. But if it's not a student, you save yourself from either some danger or somebody else from having something like their property stolen or something like that. That happens a lot on campus where people say, hey, you know what, I saw that guy. Or I saw a couple of people, and it turns out those were the bad people, but in fear of offending anybody. You're not going to offend anybody if your heart's in the right place and you're trying to do the right thing. You're just looking out for your community. Should be no offense taken. I wouldn't. If I was in your house and you never recognized me and you called on me and somebody stopped me and asked me why I was here, I wouldn't be offended. So it's okay.
Senator Feynman?
Yeah, I have a question about the winter months. So I know a lot of the crime happens like when it's dark out, and in the winter months it gets dark earlier. I was wondering if you had like a rough estimate of like when the hotbed times for the crimes are like starting, because I know probably earlier now, it's just so students can be aware of like, you know.
We have 2 peak times. Initially, right when it gets dark, because it just happened to get dark. Darkness kind of clouds badness. When people are lurking around, it's easy because they can hide under the cloak of darkness, so that helps them. So as soon as it gets dark, that's the worst time, which is typically between 5 and 7. And then again, later on at night, because your targets of opportunity, what I mean by that is early because it was dark. It just went from daytime to dark. And then late because usually there are only a few people out. And if you're out and you're like onesies, twosies, that's not good, because they're going to be rolling deep in the cars. If you've seen the reports, it's usually 3 to 4 people come up to 1 or 2 people and they take property, push them down, hit them, do whatever. So late at night, you should be in packs. I can't say enough about that. And 2 is the minimal, preferably more. And you'll notice that when you read the reports, the people that do get robbed, it's always 1 or 2. You never hear 3 guys were walking down the street or 3 girls were walking down the street and they got robbed. It's always 1 or 2. The bigger the numbers, the more they say a chance of somebody being able to call 911, get away, or do something to help the group.
Great, thank you. Senator Week?
So, I think a week before we went on break, one of my sorority sisters was on campus, and she was near the campanile, and she was actually approached by a man who took out a knife and threatened to stab her if she didn't give him all of her property. Luckily, she screamed, and there happened to be nearby students that came and kind of made that group that you're talking about, and the person ran away out of fear. But after this happened, obviously a lot of my other sisters were really shocked and not really sure what to do, and a lot of them reached out to me and asked like what UCPD was doing, how like as a senator I could help the situation and promoting safety. And I know a couple weeks ago you mentioned how you had partnered with the Berkeley Police Department to kind of increase the amount of security that was on campus, but obviously there's still situations happening, so I didn't really know how to answer their questions when I had to tell them, oh, they already like tried to increase the amount of officers on campus, because that was their initial response to say, oh, as a senator, can you write a bill to say that like UCPD needs to have more people? And I was like, well, they already did that. So I kind of wanted to bring it to your attention and also just maybe have a conversation. I know we only have 30 seconds right now, but maybe in the future discussing other options so that I can bring that back to my house.
Email me, and quickly, you're absolutely right, but just understand that even with a gazillion cops on the street, looking for crime is like looking for a needle in a haystack. Sometimes we're in the right place at the right time and we can stop it before it even starts, or we just so happen to be, are they really robbing somebody right in front of me? I've actually had that happen to me twice, where I walked up on a robbery in progress. So that's common, and tell her that I am sorry, but yeah, we have beefed it up. You have also, we have our student workers
Do
who
we
are
have a motion
eyes
to
and ears.
extend time?
A second.
All right, there's been a motion and a second. Are there any objections? Seeing none, motion carries. We have 2 more minutes.
I'll hurry. We actually have our student employees who know the campus really well. They're our eyes and ears. They're out, they have walkie-talkies, they see things, and you'd be surprised at how many times they call in what I call airstrikes. They're like, hey, I see something, this looks suspicious. We'll send a bunch of cops out, and it just so happens we catch people with burglary tools, weapons, and they're on our campus. They're not students. They're probably like the individual who approached your friend. And it happens a lot, and tell them, like, as vigilant as we can be, a lot of it, we need your help and the constituents. Like she yelled out for the group, people to be aware, like we shouldn't be in a place where, especially at night, where it's just one girl, one guy, or just 1 or 2 people. It's unfortunate, that's the environment we live in. Like, we can talk more and we can come up with some presentations. I'd be more than happy to do a presentation for them and give them a lot more ideas on safety as far as for if you are approached, what do you do if somebody puts hands on you? You have choices. We can do that.
So I know we have lots of questions on this, but if the Senate is okay with it, I'd like to move on to our CSSB report because our CSSB representative has to leave very soon, and so she wanted to give her report as early as possible in the meeting. It's slightly deviating from the order of the agenda, but if everyone is okay with that, we'll move on to Christine's report. Great, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
And Christine, while you're heading up, I just want to note that I may have to interrupt your report briefly to take roll call at 7:20, depending on how long your report goes.
Hello, Senators. So the last CSSB board meeting that we had was actually before Thanksgiving. It was on November 20th. And I just have like a couple updates I guess I can give you guys. We had a public comment from Amanda Reese from the student store that they were having a flash sale on November 21st, which actually passed, and that we are having our Faculty and Staff Appreciation Day on December 4th and 5th. And we also had a couple of reports from Kelsey, who's speaking to you later, so I'll go over that. Or I won't go over that. And we had one larger update from Bahar, who's in charge of the Organizational Governance Committee, and we're working on rewriting the CAA and also the charter. And the board decision that we came to during this meeting was to pass the CAA to the Business Development and Finance Committee once done. And this target date is whenever they're done writing that within the Organizational and Governance Committee. And our action plan before our next meeting, which is on December 18th, is to provide feedback to the board about the CAA and the charter, to have a revenue sharing model ready for you guys to sign off on the name change, and also, last but not least, for Bahar to talk to Hugh, who sits on the Finance Committee, about inviting David Robinson, our lawyer, to look over and review the revised CAA. Do you have any questions?
Questions for Christine?
Yes.
Senator Woche?
Okay. So we spoke a little bit fast, a little shorter, and a lot of that, I guess, summarize that a little bit.
Okay, yeah, no, sure. So the board decision that we came to, this is what we voted on, was to pass the CAA from the Organizational and Governance Committee to the Business Development and Finance Committee to look over before the board meeting, and our board meeting is on December 18th, so that will be going to the committees hopefully next week. And one other action plan, we also set action plans for ourselves before the next meeting, and that's to provide feedback to the board about the CAA and the charter, and also to have David Robinson, our lawyer, come in and look at our charter to make sure that we're doing everything legally.
Any other questions? All right, thank you so much for coming in, Christine. Okay, so we'll return to the order of the agenda and move into our ASUC auxiliary report. Oh, we should. Rob, if you want to hang out for just 1 minute, as soon as it hits 7:20, I'll do roll call. Wonderful. Senator Chow? Present. Senator Chung? Present. Senator Feynman?
Present.
Senator Iwoma? Senator Kong? Senator Lee. Senator Mohabbat. Senator Mullen. Senator Woche.
Present.
Senator Pacheco.
Present.
Senator Pandya. Senator Quinn. Senator Rafi contacted me in advance. She'll be excused for the evening. Senator Shen. Senator Snon.
Present.
Senator Tan.
Present.
Senator Truax.
Here.
Senator Upadhyayula.
Here.
Senator Week.
Here.
Senator Wu. Senator Iwoma. And Senator Mullen. All right, thank you. We'll now proceed with our ASUC auxiliary report.
Evening, everybody. So, my report. So, start with staffing updates and hiring updates. The marketing department of the auxiliary is happy to announce that we have a second graphic designer, Amanda Blovelt. Starts December 16th, and she's going to assist Joel with upcoming design and branding efforts for both the auxiliary and the ASUC. So, any questions, you can contact Tiffany about that. Deepak Sharma, he's joined the Lead Center as the coordinator for the academic, departmental, and professional student groups. You can stop by the Lead Center to meet him and say hi. The Lead Center is currently conducting on-campus interviews for the director of the Student Environmental Resource Center position. Candidates were on campus on Monday, today, and the final candidate will visit campus this coming Monday on the 9th. So if you'd like, you can attend the candidate presentation on the Monday from 2:30 to 3:30 in Unit 1 Slotman, room L12. There's also a student open forum for that person from 4 to 5 in the same room. Any questions, you can contact Susie Halpin or Jamie Riley. Event Services is conducting interviews for the scheduling and sales position in the next week. Also, the Art Studio is conducting on-campus interviews for the ceramics tech. Updates on the Senate Office Manager position. I posted it last week. I'm not getting a lot of responses, so I really need your help. This person will be working with everybody a lot, so if you guys know of a person who can work at least 1 year, doesn't matter if they're work study or not, and want to get $14.50 an hour, please contact your constituents and tell them to apply, both on Callisto and work study. Publications, they're looking for 2 project coordinators as well. This person these people will focus primarily on curating the twice monthly newsletter and also developing the new WordPress-based website and social media spaces for publications. That is 10 to 15 hours a week at $12.50 an hour, with staff meetings expected as well. Applications, there's one on CalLink. Any questions, you can contact me. I have the link for you. And then for the searches for the ASUC programs and for the GA, the job descriptions are complete. They were approved, and we're in the process of posting those positions. Construction facility updates. BCCal is moving into their pod by December 13th. There will be some preventative maintenance, cleaning happening here in Anna Head, in Anthony, and in the Art Studio. For room 17 in Hearst Gym, there's now a key checkout system. The Lead Center has a key, and also the EVP office has a key for that. The EAVP office has heard from several vendors in efforts to explore bringing a bike program to campus and moving forward to the content development stage of the RFP. The sewage line issues here in Anna Head have all been resolved, so yay. The northwest basement exterior door and suite 2 doors at Hearst Gym will be extended hours to 8:30 p.m. beginning tomorrow, Thursday, to Friday, December 20th, excluding weekends. So those 2 doors will be open until 8:30, until December 20th. The last day of the semester for the student tabling program is this Friday, December 6th. For the hub program, that will be Thursday, December 12th. And then for this space, it will be Sunday, December 15th. Art Studio, the winter 2013 class registration, or 2014, yeah, is now open at the Berkeley Art Studio. Classes begin the first week of February and go through mid-March. And then from the Lead Center, Superb is going to be moving, Superb Advising is moving from the student org area of the Lead Center into the ASUC program advising area of the Lead Center. Upcoming events, on December 13th, the Art Studio is having their inaugural holiday art auction to benefit the Alameda Food Bank and Coach Art. Pottery and other artworks from the Art Studio's instructors will be auctioned on December 13th with a silent auction and art sale beginning at 4 o'clock and cocktails and a live auction beginning at 6 o'clock. I will have flyers at the back table if you want to pick one up. Also pick up some, I guess some gifts for anybody who might want some very unique gifts. On Friday and Saturday, December 14th and 15th, the Art Studio is having their pop-up shop. Pottery and other artworks will be on sale. And then, let's see. So, there is a publications and media showcase this Friday here in Anna Head. So, you can come mingle with the other campus publications and media groups. And then there's some dessert from Market Hall and a multimedia show. And this is sponsored by the Publications and Media Center and the Office of ASUC Senator Justin Kong. And we'll be featuring the work of some of our top publications and media organizations. There's going to be a yearbook flash sale this Friday and Saturday from 12 to 4 on Dwannell. So we are definitely trying to move as many old yearbooks as we can. Prices will be on the flyer. I also have that in the back as well. Other updates, congratulations to everybody who participated in the inaugural Berkeley Half Marathon. I thought that was fun. For the Career Center, I announced last time that it would be December 10th, 12:30 to 2. I will probably have a second date in the spring semester. If anyone still plans to go to that meeting with the Career Center, come talk to me afterwards. If I don't have people coming, then I'm just going to have that one meeting in the spring. So just let me know. Again, it's December 10th, 12:30 to 2 at the Career Center. For the Cal Student Store, this year they'll be working with the Alameda County Food Bank to help with the food drive. Donation bins will be dropped off at the bookstore beginning next week and will be picked up at the end of the month. For textbooks, they've laid shelf tags for fall and we have begun shelving spring books. With just a few days left of class, they are really, really behind in their adoption percentages. And then finally from TGIF, they gave out 10 new mini grants for, what is that, $16,000, I think, with 110 projects they have funded so far through the mini grant program. And TGIF is now published. The Association for the Advancement of Sustainability in Higher Education published a guide for Campus Green Fund implementation, and TGIF is a co-author in that publication. So those are my updates. Are there any questions?
Questions for Rob? I'll just note really briefly, I think the TGIF mini grant program has existed for like a maximum of 2 years, and so to fund 110 programs through that is really crazy. Like that's a lot of things that have been funded. But if there are no questions, then thank you, Rob. Let's move then into our finance officer report.
Hi. Okay. Hi. For the past 2 weeks, I helped author the budget realignment bill, so I think that's on the consent calendar for today. Also, I work with finance committee senators and authored the bill to revise the budget. I mean the finance bylaws to change from. It's in a bill. You read it, and yeah, I think that's it. Any questions?
Questions, Senator Woche?
Yeah, because I guess I don't have to do in front of me myself. Because
Oh, really?
you could go over some of the details.
Yeah.
I apologize for the confusion on this. The binders are MIA right now somehow. I'm not sure what happened. So the Secretariat staff put them into these folders. We will have them back in a more organized fashion for the next meeting.
Yeah, so, well, let me just explain. So basically, currently in the bylaws, for a student group, if they apply for ASUC sponsorship after the 10th week of spring semester, before the 10th week of spring semester, they can be considered as second-year groups after the 10th week for spring budgeting, which doesn't make sense because spring budgeting happens before the 10th week of spring semester. So it would create confusions and like just a lot of delays. So so now we propose to change it for the deadline to be week 6 of spring semester, so that it will happen before spring budgeting happens, which make things clear and less confusion. Any questions for that?
Other questions for our finance officer?
Thank you.
All right, if there are none, we will move on. Thank you, Dennis. We'll move then into guest announcements and public comments. Right now I have one public comment card. If there are other members of the public who are interested in commenting, please be sure to fill out a public comment card and give that to us. For now, I'd like to invite up Tim, who's here to give us a comment on a non-agenda item about Berkeley City College.
Hello all. My name is Tim Wishnowski. I am a senator at Berkeley City College, and my focus is campus sustainability. This is a bit short notice, so I'm unprepared, so my apologies if I stumble or whatever. But Emily Truax is a friend of mine from high school band. She was a trombone player. I'm a sax player. I found it recently. Oh, Emily goes to Cal. We bumped into each other on the street, and I was with a senator of mine. We started talking. He'd seen a piece of legislation Emily had written, and we started talking about potential avenues of collaboration between the ASBCC and the ASUC. Currently, it's sort of really just actualized in the form of me being the only ASBCC senator being here to witness the lobby training, but I hope to generate more potential interest, hopefully with your guys' help, in sort of finding out what potential channels we could explore, any kind of potential beneficial collaborations, good things coming out, whatever. We still have no idea where that's going to go, but I met recently with Emily and Kevin Sabo, and we're still sort of figuring that out. So yeah, that's essentially it, and I look forward to potentially seeing you guys more often.
Great, thank you. All right, we will move on then to approval of the minutes for November 20th, 2013. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from November 20th?
So moved.
There is an motion and a second. Are there any objections to the motion? Any amendments that we need to make to the minutes? Objections, abstentions? Seeing none, motion carries. Oh, Grant's not here, that's why I went slower than normal. I was like, why is this taking so long? Okay, so we'll move now into new business and delegating these bills out to committee. So for the External Affairs Committee, we'll do SB 67, 69, 72, and 75. For the Constitutional and Procedural Review Committee, which has an unusually high number of bills this week, we'll do SB 68, you'll write this upon yourselves, 70, 71, and 74. And for the Finance Committee, we'll have SB 73 and SB 76. For authors of the bills who submitted those, if there are any corrections you need to make to that, please let me know. Otherwise, I'd like to entertain a motion to send those bills to committees as noted.
So moved.
Second.
All right, there's been a motion and a second. Are there any objections to sending those bills to those committees? Abstentions? Seeing none, motion carries. We'll now move into approval of the agenda for December 11th, 2013. We'll take care of amendments to this agenda shortly after. There were some errors on special orders. Just I mean, to be clear on this, we're doing the approval of the agenda for December 11th because it's in the agenda packet right now. It's going to be a special meeting, so we don't actually have to approve it in advance the way that we do with others. So I think like if we can just sort of glide past this as a preliminary thing, and if you all are okay with this agenda, we'll leave it at that, except I do want to know if anybody wants to do special orders that day so that I can put those into the special meeting agenda. Senator Woche? So at the special meeting, we'll approve the first agenda for spring semester, and you would ask for a special order at that time. Yeah. Any questions, comments, special orders to add? Thank goodness, because that's going to be Dead Week when you should all be studying. Or the other things that RRR stands for. So we'll now move into executive officer reports. I'd like to first invite up the Office of the President to deliver their report, if there's anyone from OP here. If there's not, we'll move then into academic affairs. And if there's no from academic affairs, we'll move into external affairs.
Thanks, Emily. Hi, everybody. So I just have a few things to add to my report. One, with the holiday season, the Telegraph space stuff is kind of on hold because they're all crazy busy dealing with all of the holiday decorations that occur on Telegraph. So that's why that's kind of slowed a little bit. Lately, I've been in a few conversations and meetings regarding what we as a campus can do outside of alcohol EDU to deal with kind of alcohol-related illness and problems, especially in the residence halls. And so we're moving forward on a lot of those conversations, but if any of you have thoughts or ideas beyond bills that are being written, I'd love to hear your opinion on what would be a more beneficial solution or who the right people are that should be talking about that. So let me know if you have any opinions on that as well. I talked in my last exec report about a soda tax in the city of Berkeley. And just as a refresher, that was an idea that one of the council members is floating around as possibly a sugar-sweetened beverage tax, which I think is a good idea, but we want to gauge student interest. So there'll be a survey going out to see how students feel about a possible soda tax during Dead Week. So if you could help us distribute it, that would be awesome. Even if you hate soda taxes, we would love to hear that you hate soda taxes, because that would be helpful too. Otherwise, there's going to be the lobby training in a little bit, so we're really excited about that, and for all of you to lobby next week. Some upcoming events that I wanted to highlight. Congresswoman Jackie Spear, who represents the 14th district, so like San Mateo and San Francisco, is actually going to be on campus on Monday, and she's going to be here talking about like veteran affairs, and also kind of the work that she's been doing. But it's really difficult to get Congress people to come to Cal, especially Congress people who feel like they already have student support. And so if you are interested in attending, I'll email you all the details, but that's on Monday of Dead Week from 3 to 4. The other kind of big event that's going on right now is our International Affairs Department has launched the call for submissions for the International Student Anthology. What that is basically a way for us to aid in the storytelling of both international students and students who have studied abroad and who want to give kind of an international perspective of what their international journey has been at Cal. And so the anthology will be made up of poems, short stories, essays, art. And so if you have international student friends, constituents, or are an international student, or have studied abroad, I really recommend that you either share the submission for the anthology or submit something. We'll be taking submissions until December 22nd at midnight. And there's like an online form that I will also send out to all of you and tag you in on Facebook. The EAVP office is hosting like an inter-office holiday party next week, and you're all invited. It's going to be on Wednesday. So I'll also, in my email of all of these things, email you about that. And then obviously the biggest update is yesterday, the City Council passed the student district, which was very, very exciting. And finally, this was a 3-year process. I think what I really want to highlight is, one, thank you to all of those of you who were there. 3 years ago, it was hard to get even 2 people to come to a city council meeting, so to see that many students there was really impressive. And I know this issue ended up being incredibly divisive, but I really believe that there's a way to move forward and to take a minute to recognize that this is an incredible moment in history in the city of Berkeley and in this country, that students fought for their own voice at the table and got it. And so in that, I'm really excited about that, and I guess moving forward, we'll be working on building some bridges and working to reunite the student voice where we can and see how we can move this forward and ensure that students continue to be represented. So yeah, yield to questions.
Senator Woche?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I want to just acknowledge the work that you're doing. I know you're really working hard. I know you're going to say first, you're just going to basically right? We're going to have a 3-year process. I know you were an internet design for the first meeting, and you were closely with Sharia, and now you guys can check that. Thank you for your hard work.
Other questions? All right, if there are none, we will move on, and hopefully some of our other execs have joined us, but maybe not. Awesome. We'll move then into our student advocates report.
Hello, everyone. Tim is really sorry he couldn't be here today. He has 5 problem sets he's swimming under, and he's very, very sad. So basically, just want to talk about a couple of things. Most of it's highlighted in the report. We sent out a year-end report to you all summarizing what we did this semester, if you're curious. So you can check out that. Some of the key highlights, we handled over 88 student individual cases this semester in addition to the policy stuff we've been pursuing. That's a lot of cases, and it's been higher than recent trends. One big update from today, we have some caseworkers in our office that sit on CERC subcommittee on alcohol and risk. And one proposal that was being discussed was around parental notification when students have alcohol issues that are really egregious where they're sent to the hospital, but just want to let you know that was been defeated and put to rest because we thought it was very inappropriate. Bank consolidation carries forward. It looks like the RFP will really be coming out in the spring. Basically, it's being in its final draft stages now, so you should all look for an email from me soon, basically with that document to get you some feedback and public comment on that in the near future. If you have any questions of that, let me know. And those are the big things. I mean, the semester's wrapping up. I hope you all had a good Thanksgiving and a good winter break.
Any questions? All right, thank you, Ishi. Okay. Last call on President and Academic Affairs VP. All right, I'll move into mine then, and perhaps they will join us by that time. So my report is from the week that we, I guess, left for the holiday break. I submitted mine on the 25th because during last week nothing happened, except one brief meeting on Wednesday morning about Lead Center rebranding. I can't discuss a whole lot of that with you because we're still trying to clear the rebranding decisions with the university before we move forward with them. But those will come to the Senate. The Lead Center is just sort of interested in exploring the possibilities of rebranding, and because of where they're nestled on campus, that's going to involve some interaction with the Division of Student Affairs. More to come on that. Everything is pretty much in the report. This is a longer report, I guess, but some of the highlights that I'll note are that I met with, they call it an access and control triad, which sounds like really important and scary, but it's just like a group of people from the Lead Center and the ASUC Auxiliary and me, who meet to talk about the way that we do key card access in Hearst. And so the person that they just hired to do keycard access stuff more closely, he came from a different university. He reviewed our process and said that the steps are fairly straightforward and that he doesn't think there are any steps that we can cut out. So really, like, the only thing that we can do is clarify and make sure that people are really clear on the instructions. If there are ways that we can do that better, let us know. I noted that we would like to have new hours on the basement doors in order to accommodate meditation space access, but there are a host of other problems that come with that, because if we open the basement doors, I think I may have mentioned this before, but if we open the basement doors, it leaves all of the doors open until whatever hour that is on the exterior. So that means 112, the doorway to the little lobby that goes to 114, the side that leads to the lockers, or the cages, I should say, and the side that leads to the meditation space. So all of those doors become open when we leave that south basement door open, or the north basement. Yeah, Senator Shen?
Sorry, are they not supposed to be open right now?
I asked them to extend them until 8:30 to accommodate the meditation space. Normally they close at 6.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm in Tycho and we have practice at 6, and I've noticed that like even when we go back at like 9:30 p.m., like all the doors are all open, like still
They're not
unlocked.
supposed to be open until 9:30, but they are supposed to be open until 8:30. So it's possible that they're just sort of extending that like exterior door access, or maybe they like didn't get that communication correctly. But the point is that facilities is now interested in the possibility of having like a student security monitor on one of those other doors, and possibly secretariat staff at the front desk in 112 Hearst, just for security reasons. Let me know your feelings on that if you feel strongly one way or the other. Food pantry is moving along. We finally, I met with Student Regent Designate Saifuddin, the Public Service Center, and the Centers for Educational Excellence and Equity. I think that's the right order for the acronym. I don't know, but we discussed food pantry and finally presented it to the Chancellor's Advisory Committee on Student Services and Fees chair, and she's comfortable moving forward with it, it seems like. So we should have an operating food pantry opening in January if everything goes according to plans. We'll start with dry food only, just because of health regulations, so microwavable stuff and or like noodles, rice, beans, that type of thing. And then as we're able to outfit the space and develop the model for the food pantry, we'll be able to provide perishables and hopefully fresh produce one day. And then the last thing I wanted to highlight is that we finally were able to process all of the people who have signed up at various times throughout the year and add them to our new online database for the first time that I know of in ASUC's history. We have like a database of email addresses and contact information that we can reach out to for people who have done things like signing up at Calapalooza or that type of stuff, and we now have 1,400 contacts in our database, and hopefully that will continue to grow in the spring. We're noting people's graduation years so that we can pass that on from class to class, but ideally what will happen is that the ASUC will have a giant database of people as this builds and new people sign up. That's all I have other than what's written in the report. Does anyone have questions beyond what I've talked about or clarification? Senator Week?
Can you speak briefly on the reasons why they're opposed to having a security monitor for the west side of Hearst?
No, they want to have a security
Oh, I thought you
monitor.
said they're opposed. Okay.
No. Yeah, I mean, it's just like to keep track of who's going in and out of the side, mostly with the cages, because the cage side is not just us, that's also like PPCS space that has important stuff in it apparently, so they want to keep that safe. Senator Feinman?
On the report, under list of events sponsored by union offices, it says sustainability, and then it says Keystone XL Pipeline Rally, and then is the next part, is that a joke? I don't like understand. It says S-Team Fear Screen Fire. What does that mean?
No. I think it was supposed to be Keystone XL Rally, which was because it was just a big mess to like organize. STEAM is ASUC Sustainability Team. I take what people give me from my departments and put them into this report. So Haley might be able to explain that better. But Fear Screen Fire is an actual thing. It's like a documentary, and that was hosted by ASUC Sustainability Team, and we helped them with that. A Fear Screen Fire, yeah. Yeah, it's ASUC Sustainability Team. They're an ASUC program, believe it or not. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? All right, if we don't have other questions, I'll yield to Rishi to make an announcement, and then we'll move on in reports.
Sorry, I forgot one more thing. Every year, semester, we hold final snacks on the Friday and Saturday of Dead Week. We stand outside of Moffitt and give out coffee and donut holes. So if any of your constituents want, and you want some coffee or donut holes, please come out Friday and Saturday, 7 to 9. Sorry about that. Thanks.
Awesome. Okay, so we'll move on then to our Office of the President report.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Sorry, I'm trying to pull up my report right now to read it to you, but it's pretty bare just because of the break, and then I had to return home earlier than expected for the break for another family emergency again, and so I had to cancel all my administrative meetings last week, but I'm catching up on those. We had the Survivor Solidarity Circle from 2 weeks ago happen on the office. I just came back from our admissions panel that my office and the Office of the Academic Affairs Vice President hosted together with the Director of Office of Undergraduate Admissions. Thanks to Senator Woma for being on the panel as well. And then I had a conversation with Steve last week to just talk about new processes and help transition him more. So previously, Greg would read over the contracts that student groups go into, like Superb or other cultural groups who are renting out venues from third parties and whatnot. And we just needed to make sure that the lead center was on board with starting to communicate with Steve now, et cetera. So not too much has happened with him yet, but we are communicating to get him transitioned. And then today's Wednesday. Monday was the last fireside chat of the semester with the environmental community, and that went well. I don't have the dates for next semester yet, but the procedures will basically be the same. Let's see what else. And then we had our last CACSIF meeting yesterday as well. And then I believe I can finally update everyone on the allocations. So I am going to read them to you as thus. So I'm just only going to read the ASUC applications. There were a lot more, obviously, from departments and stuff. But we approved a proposal submitted for Anahead upgrades, which was for $50,000. We approved a proposal that my office and Senator Mullen put forward on student health, and Senator Kong, for student health care access, which will create a pot of money that students from low-income backgrounds can basically get subsidized costs for with the, what are those called? Like the co-pays. That's for a pilot program for next semester for $50,000 as well. We approved another, an ASUC leadership development program, partially funded at $7,870. We approved also, this isn't ASUC related, but University Village proposed for a childcare playground because they have really terrible facilities over there, and what is going to be able to be done now with CACSIF money is going to be amazing for the kids who live at University Village, and I was really excited about that, so I want to share. And then the application on philanthropy fundraising that Silverly turned in was partially funded at $7,000 or so dollars. My office's proposal for the concert in collaboration with the Multicultural Community Center next semester for the Night of Cultural Resistance got approved at $50,000. The second proposal for the food pantry got approved at full funding at $17,100. And I think, and the Phoenix Scholars project got approved for $38,000. which is for to start the Center for the Formerly Incarcerated Student Population. And then also EVP PAC's proposal for the Haas grad consulting program to kind of help advise with ASUC finances and investments, also approved for $16,000.
Can I ask a clarifying question on that?
Yep.
I know Bahar had thoughts about opening up and Senator Shen brought this up before too, the possibility of opening it up to be more flexible and not just graduate students. Did she end up voicing those concerns in committee?
Wait, to be more
so that the funding could be allocated to either undergraduate groups or graduate students or some combination thereof?
There was that conversation, and the committee didn't make any contingencies of we're going to do this, but it has to be a certain group.
Okay.
So it's still
flexible?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Are there any other questions? That's kind of all I had today.
Questions for President Pepito? All right, if there are none, thank you.
Thank you.
So my chief of staff just texted me and asked me she has a cooking shift at Afro House, and so she is not able to come here right at the start of the meetings. But as Rob mentioned before, we're looking for a new office manager, and the reason that we're doing that is because our old office manager is leaving. I believe he joined the Air Force, I think. So he's moving on to real life after UC Berkeley. And Jordan has been incredible. He's been here in the capacity as office manager for a longer time than most office managers do. I think it's been beyond a year and a half. So we've benefited from his expertise and his understanding, and he's generously offered to stay on to transition whoever we pick as the new person through, I think, the early parts of January. So we're hosting an appreciation banquet for him. The next Senate meeting is going to start a little bit later than normal, but we do want to have an appreciation banquet on Wednesday. Monshane says it's scheduled from 5 to 7. Look out for an email about that, but it's for him and then the office manager / secretariat staff who do the work of supporting us and things like assembling these packets and so forth. So we just want to give them a shout out and make Jordan feel appreciated as he takes off for real life after devoting his time here. So we'll move on then after this to appointments, if there are any. I don't think we have any appointments to follow up on. And I want to have a brief conversation about special orders. For whatever reason, all of the special orders that we approved didn't make it onto the agenda right now. So with the consent of the Senate, I would like to note that we also have a presentation on Lobby Corps as well as one from Forward.us on immigration reform. Senator Wu has requested that Forward.us be able to go first because he has to leave soon. So if everyone is okay with that, we didn't approve them in any particular order as far as I can remember. So if the presenters from that group are here, and if if other senators are okay with Senator Wu's request, we'll move forward with Forward.us first. Okay, so let's move on then into our special orders formally with a presentation from Forward.us.
My computer's up there. Should I turn it on? I can just do it myself.
Yeah.
If you want to watch on the chat,
Chopstick.
Chopstick! That's right, guys. No dry lips will pass immigration reform.
What are they asking about? Do you have a PowerPoint that you're trying to do?
Okay, we'll just start with that one. Yeah, you go in front of whatever.
Good idea.
Testing.
I think we should get a Senate laptop.
If city council could get iPad last week.
Community college had iPads for their exec meetings.
Just my voice.
But then people would be playing games. People would be playing like Fruit Ninja and shit.
City council,
I lack adequate cultural references to things because I don't do them. Or whatever.
Okay.
One of our students
Yeah, that means internet, hopefully. I can get this to go on. It's already open.
You only woke up the entire
Yep.
one of our trustees told me that this. Like, I did the
You know what would be incredible?
one of my community coordinators did the story says. I'm like,
Okay, sorry.
okay.
Petroleum flavored.
You're incredible. Coolest way brought to you by BB.
Wow.
Oh, is there a way to, like,
Oh, I was gonna say with the Prezi, but no, actually with chapstick. I'm very.
Prezzies and chaps.
thank you. So if y'all are getting the pens and the chapstick, if you could also sign in to the sign-in sheet going around, I'd love to keep in touch with all of you. That would be great. First and foremost, I want to thank you all for having me out here to speak on behalf of Forward US, and a special thanks to Eric for reaching out to me. I've been working for Forward for about 2 years. My name is Alana Friedman, and I'm here to tell you a little bit about who we are, how we're different than other organizations, kind of the political landscape for immigration reform, and why this should matter to you, and why we hope it does matter to you, and how you can get involved. So first, Forward US is an advocacy organization started by key leaders of the tech industry to organize the tech community around policies that promote an improvement in the knowledge economy. So that's a lot of words, that means a lot, that sounds like mumbo jumbo, but basically we're working to not only recruit the best and the brightest workers, but the 11 million undocumented citizens living here in the United States. So while our primary target is the tech industry, our organization would be absolutely nowhere without our grassroots, widespread volunteer base, which is where you come in. So what are we fighting for? We are appealing to a bipartisan comprehensive bill. I'm sorry, skipped one. I'll just go back. So we're fighting for a bipartisan comprehensive bill which has 3 major principles. The first is to reform legal immigration. So by doing this, we want to establish a streamlined process to admit the best and the brightest workers and encourage them to stay permanently in the United States. We believe that this will not only encourage or influence a growth in the national economy, but improve American families as a whole, as people are daily being ripped apart. Secondly, we want to establish a pathway to citizenship. So this is to provide a pathway to citizenship for the 11 million undocumented citizens who are living and working here in the United States, and allow them the opportunity to come out of the shadows. This also includes the Dreamers, who from the DREAM Act are immigrants who came here as children and know no other country but the United States, but don't have full rights, and many of them didn't even find out about their citizenship status until they were at least in high school or college. And finally, as appealing to our bipartisan agenda, we want to fix enforcement. We want to provide law enforcement the tools necessary to secure the border, as well as providing e-verification, which will allow employers to more easily assess their employees' documentation status. So what makes us different? One, our techiness. Our founders, our strategy, and our members are all key people in the tech community. So our founders are the same founders of Dropbox, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. These are big names that allow us not only the resources, but the network to really permeate the United States. Our strategy is also very tech-oriented. We have a state-of-the-art digital team that codes day in and day out to create not only the best websites that are user-friendly, but also apps and different functions to make passing immigration reform and amplifying our volunteers' voices as easy as possible. Secondly, by understanding the landscape of the political scheme, we promote a bipartisan, comprehensive agenda as to not alienate any any side of the political forum. And lastly, by nature of our organization, we have been privileged enough to be networked with over 400 broad coalitions within the United States and with other lobbying groups. So why now? As some of you may know, in June of this year, the Senate passed a bipartisan immigration bill that was comprehensive in that it provided for a pathway to citizenship, dreamer legislation, high and low skilled work visas, and an e-verify system for employment. In October, the House Democrats passed their version of this bill. Now it's up to the House GOP to act, which is really where we come in to build momentum and motivate them to cause change. So we need 218 votes to pass reform. There are 231 Republicans and 206 Democrats, which only furthers our need to appeal to the bipartisan agenda and garner support from both sides of the aisle. The next 3 to 5 months presents us with a rare opportunity that we haven't seen in over 30 years, which is even more reason why we believe that the time for change is now. So what are we doing to bring about this change? The first, in terms of advocacy, in addition to rallying over 21,000 calls to over 315 members of Congress and Senate, we're also doing grand political campaigns, including our recent DC fly-in, where we and other political organizations rallied over 600 businessmen and tech tycoons to fly to DC and make a big splash on the Hill to have meetings with our Congress. Not only did this create a buzz in politics, but it really boosted our reputation and created a lot of awareness. Another way that we create buzz is with our digital team on all of our social media sites, as well as by hosting events like our recent hackathon, which we partnered Dreamers, which were the immigrants who came as kids and don't have, so these are undocumented students who have learned code. We matched them with local tech mentors, and we flew them in, and they coded for over 24 hours and tried to develop tools to improve either the fight for immigration reform or the immigrant community at large. And their products were judged by none other than the founder of Facebook, the founder of Twitter, the founder of LinkedIn. It was really a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Many of the Dreamers spoke about how if you had told them 3 weeks ago that they'd be coding in front of Mark Zuckerberg, they would have never believed it to be true, but they really see a future in this, and it was very inspiring. You can catch it on our website. Thirdly, we educate by ways of spreading awareness. We also host expert-led panels where immigration experts or policy experts come and speak and kind of serve as a resource to our volunteers and anyone who has questions about the system. And finally, we try to engage our volunteers by any means necessary. So whether that be a happy hour, a movie night, a strategy session, if you have an idea for a way to further spread awareness or pass immigration reform, you email me and we will honestly do our very best to make it happen. We're very flexible and we're very excited to engage as many people as possible. So I feel like y'all understand the gravity of the situation. I don't feel like I need to dumb this down for you. Why is comprehensive immigration reform important? It creates opportunities for high and low skilled workers. It'll boost the economy. It'll let the 11 million undocumented come out of the shadows. And it'll affect you whether or not you have a direct tie to an undocumented person. Like, immigration reform is so deeply embedded in the American dream. People come here, I'm getting emotional. Basically, it's clearly an important issue. And at a campus like Berkeley, where there's a strong culture of civic engagement and activism, I mean, we've already partnered with a number of groups, including ISAB, RISE, ISA. They're groups that have parallel agendas, but I really do feel that Forward US has the ability to fill a void for students looking to advocate for immigration reform. On a campus where 13% of your students are international, an even larger percentage are studying the STEM fields, not only is this relevant, but it's urgent. In the next 3 to 5 months, we have a real window of opportunity to create incredible change that this country hasn't seen in over 30 years. So we're hoping to build a partnership with you all. We need your help to connect us with student organizations. Eventually, we have volunteers already in the works who want to help us build a Forward US Berkeley chapter, if any of y'all are interested in joining the momentum for that.
And finally, if any of you have personal stories, we would love to amplify your voice, amplify your story, get you involved. Really, any way you feel that you want to get involved, we'd love to have you on our team. So I'd like to open the floor for questions. Also, I don't know if this is possible, I would love a quick photo op because we're doing a digital campaign, and I can say like, Berkeley is ready for reform. How do y'all feel about that?
Yes.
Feel good? Ready for reform? Yes.
Senator Quinn?
You mentioned securing the border. Could you explain how your organization views the difference between securing the border and militarizing the border?
That is an absolutely fair question. So, yes, we don't participate as much in the details of the bill. We are more concerned with getting a comprehensive bill through. So, and I personally can't tell you our specific stance on where that is. I know that's not the answer you're looking for. But I can tell you that we're more concerned with like the e-verification system and creating more technologies that would support a secure border rather than more guns and a taller wall.
Senator Tan?
Yeah, can you explain more about what recent developments you have with the e-verification system?
I'm not the person who knows all of that information. If you email me, I will forward you to the person who is. If everyone wants to write down my email address, it's ilana@fwd.us. And I promise I'll put you in touch with someone who has better answers.
Senator Woche?
Yeah, I just had a general question about the specific details of the actual bill. I know I've been following it, but I haven't had time, busy with school. Could you sort of explain what the details are about the bill that the House Democrats introduced, and also what the reservations are of the House Republicans?
Right, so the House Democrat bill looks very, very similar to the Senate bill. So that really focuses on a pathway to citizenship, more high and low skilled work visas. I have it in my... More high and low skilled work visas. And I think the pathway to citizenship is a major issue that the Republicans are facing. By putting it together in a comprehensive bill, we're hoping that we give a little, take a little, and work together to make a compromise.
Other questions for our presenter? All right, if there are, Senator Wu.
I'll just send an email to the listserv for Lena's email address, and if you have any specific question, you can always email her.
Great.
And now if I could take my quick photo, is that cool?
Sure, so I'd like to call up our next presenters, presumably from Lobby Corps, to begin setting up your presentation while we do this photo op of some kind.
If I close this, is it gonna affect, is that fine? Like technology-wise? Yeah.
Okay. All right, so I don't know what the best way to do a photo op in this space is. The lighting's not particularly good anywhere.
I'll make it work.
You could go upstairs and take a pic down.
Okay, question.
It's going to renovate stuff in here, move all of the storage space, the internal storage space outside into a pod. So a lot of that is in the purchase of pod. No, I mean, it's a lot of different things. Ideally, yeah. There's a whole laundry list of things we're trying to do with it.
Allow more than 8 people.
No, we're actually...
So someone passing out, like, I'm really, like, I'm so...
I wish.
You have a lot of work.
Yeah. From our presenter, is there a particular direction you're wanting us to go for photo op?
I figure that we can just, I'll take one of this side and then move it around and take one of this side.
Sure.
Wait, what do we...
You might want to have something have HD.
Alright, so I think it's time.
Beautiful. I'm so excited. No.
This is the one that
Yeah.
Destiny's.
I think this means that I'm going to be in both pictures. Ready?
It's totally not right.
So I thought it.
There's an E.
I don't get it.
I'll hold two. Ready for reform?
Ready for reform too.
I'm honestly not, so I think I need to take a nap.
We'll try. Berkeley is ready for reform.
Yeah. Is that under lobby resources?
You're all about this D right now.
I like them.
She's putting the D in Wendy right now.
Oh, we smile. Lord.
I'm gonna make it
Okay. Let's pass. What is it?
Thank you.
Are there, do any of y'all have the sign-in sheets?
Yes, they didn't make it past.
Oh, I didn't.
I don't want to. I don't want to say that's Emily's fault. Emily, how could you? You killed the sign-in sheet. Like you murdered it.
I never know when the next one will come.
It's not recognizing it.
Oh, yeah, right.
Mr. Lip, yes, I'm the new chair.
Oh, okay.
Get out of here.
I changed the purpose of the session. This is really loud.
Tell everybody.
I'm just chairing meetings.
Always.
We got through them faster. No. I moved no. I moved to approve the no.
Command F1.
Sugar?
No, I'm okay. I've had sweet potato.
I've had so many of these.
They're so good. Justin. Oh, yeah. Justin, I'm like LS. I know. What is life? It's because exec reports are really short.
I swear I thought it was 10.
Exec reports are super short. I smell like in my chair.
Pretty good. Are you sure? I can't stand this cold jacket. So cold. It doesn't get this cold. Oh my god.
No, it's
I know, right? I'm leaving with a
While we're waiting for our presenters to set up, I want to check to see if we have anyone from the Berkeley Faculty Association here. Senator Nolan is not here with us tonight, so I'm not clear on who will be doing that presentation. So if we don't have that, we'll move on after this presentation.
It's not the No, I was but then I was raised like in China. Yeah.
I'm sorry, my lord. I'm gonna give you a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, thank you.
I should start using terms you didn't hear that. Like,
Yeah, my parents are sorry. They just like can't get it anymore. And like Hong Kong's better.
I was something more like.
Yeah. So I was like this whole like
really wired?
Yeah, it's pretty creepy.
yeah, well, it's not holiday.
Like, my little
My grandma.
Does he really?
Yeah.
I don't even know what a hammock is.
It's like a lamb chop, but for hams.
Let's think of
The pork version. Lamb chop.
hard-boiled egg.
Something. Make this new.
When I was 16, so I spent 2 years high school here, and 2 years at college.
Yeah, we should. All right, while we're waiting for the technology, I'll tell a joke. To
Is the PowerPoint critical for all parts of the presentation? Can you start it without the PowerPoint? Maybe can you all introduce yourselves while we're trying to set this up so we can get into the presentation?
After the joke or before the joke? Or?
Preferably in lieu of the joke.
Sam's joke? Okay.
Instead of.
I was just like, I'll just shout. Okay, hi everyone. My name's Sally, and I'm here with the rest of the ASUC Lobby Corps. We're here to just give a really brief presentation on how to lobby in preparation for the lobby visits some of you will be going on Tuesday, or just for any future lobbying any of you plan to do. So I'm just going to go ahead and let Ariana take it away.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start, and just in case, can you guys hear me? Okay. Just in case you guys don't know, a little bit background on like what is a Lobby Corps. So Lobby Corps is a group of students who empower themselves to lobby locally for important student issues. Something that's really important to us is building relationships with legislators at the district level, which is crucial to winning our campaigns as we lobby in Sacramento, which some of you guys may be doing. Lobby Corps is also active on campus in educating other students about current policy issues. We participate in UCSA campaigns and attempt to teach and recruit other students to lobby for themselves as well. And we believe that there's no such thing as too many student advocates for any cause. Additionally, Lobby Corps members serve as legislative analysts for their student government. We closely follow the budget and policy developments at the statewide level. Additionally, we work in coalition with UCSA, other campus lobby groups throughout the CSU and community colleges in order to bring student issues into focus for your legislators. We are responsible for coordinating and carrying out lobbying efforts in coalition with other students, and UCSA helps us out because they work hard to build coalitions with other organizations that are also committed to the access and affordability of higher education like we are. But most importantly, Lobby Corps members are organizers. We register voters, make phone calls, collect letters, and mobilize other students on campus. And that goes hand in hand and is just as important as lobbying our legislators. So all of us on Lobby Corps know that advocates who make change are involved in all aspects of the process, not just going to meetings and wearing suits.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm too tall for this. Okay, so when you go on your lobby visit, you're going to have about a group of 3 to 5 people, and you don't want too many because then it's hard to really be productive in that meeting because you're just going to have too many people trying to talk, and you only have like 15 minutes with the member or the staff member, so you really want to get things done as quick as you can. There are roles that each member should take on, or they should take on 1 or 2 at the max. The first role is the facilitator. So this is really the point person in the meeting. They should definitely know what they're talking about, understand all the facts of the issue, and they're going to take the group through the agenda from the beginning to the end of the meeting, and they should have the most lobbying experience of the group. So either they have lobbied on this issue or they've just lobbied before in the past. You really want to make sure that they're like the figurehead in a way. They're going to make sure it runs smoothly and efficiently because, again, time is of the essence, keeping track of time. And they're going to make sure that the representative or staff member doesn't take over the meeting and get sidetracked. You really want to keep on track and make sure that you're getting all your points across. And lastly, or not lastly, second, you have the note taker. So the note taker, he or she shouldn't just be on the side taking notes. They should also contribute to the conversation, but they should definitely be making sure that they're taking down notes about questions or commitments that the staff member or the legislator makes. And so the notes are essential because you're going to want to look over those after the meeting to make sure you flesh out all the information and everything is communicated back to your lobby core. So yeah, and we'll continue.
Hi, okay, so the third role that people play is called the presenter, and these people are responsible for laying out the issues for the member, and they're responsible to explain the group's position and to provide the policy arguments and the data and other information to support our position on it, and it's also their responsibility to ask the member where they stand on the issue. The last role that we have in the group are the testimonials, and these are the personal stories that are behind the different programs and the issues that we're trying to lobby on. And these are usually students that are personally affected by the issues that you're lobbying on and should share their story with the legislator. And these people are really important because it's really crucial that the legislators can put a face to all the data and all the statistics and personalize them for the member.
So next we're just going to go through a couple of the steps towards a successful lobby visit. So one of the first things is to identify yourself and the group you represent. So in introducing yourself in the meeting, make sure to state that you're from UC Berkeley, state that you are an ASUC senator, be sure to indicate the groups that you represent. It's really important to frame students as important stakeholders and as a voting population. The second thing is to maintain control of the meeting. Oftentimes, the representative or staffer will go on tangents or will just start talking about random things. Sometimes you will have as little as 15 minutes or 30 minutes in a meeting, so it's really important to stay on track. So be polite yet firm in bringing the conversation back towards what you wanted to initially discuss. And however, I do like to say it is important to let the legislator talk for a little bit. Sometimes they may be a little bit more receptive if you let them talk a little bit.
Hi. So some other things to remember. You want to state your position clearly using arguments and statistics. You can be more effective by personalizing the issue, so drawing on your own experiences or the experience of other students like you. This is where the testimonials come in. And also you can politicize the issue and say that you're going to tell the students, your constituents, how this member is going to vote, what their stance is on the issue. Prior to the meeting, you should research the member that you'll be meeting with. Important things to know about them: political affiliation, personality, campaign contributions, and their voting record on this issue or other relative issues. Another thing is to ask specific questions. You want to ask the member their position on the issue and tell them if you disagree. And also, you want to ask them to take the stance on the issue or to vote a certain way. Finally, you want to provide them with information because you can't assume that the member or staff knows the issue you're talking about. You're going to start off by showing your credibility by knowing the issue and being confident. And it's important that you understand current trends, developments, and opinions on the matter. You should be able to tell them the key problems and issues and what can be done to make a positive difference. In order to do this, you may need to meet with other people or organizations to learn about their experience on the issue. If you don't know something, if the member gives you a question you can't answer, tell them that you'll get back to them. The note taker can take a note of that and you can keep in contact with them to get that answered. Finally, you'll want to leave behind one-pagers of information so that the legislators and staffers have reference material.
Hi, I'm Art. I got skipped over. I was trying to do the computer, but I will present the last steps of the lobby visit. So what you want to do is, a crucial thing is, if you go into a lobby visit knowing that this senator or congressman is an ally, use them to our advantage. Don't take the time trying to win them over. You've already won them over. Take the time to collaborate with them, see how we can work together with them to actually promote the change we're trying to promote. Members and staffers will always be knowledgeable about the issues that you're trying to promote, so ask them for information as well. They'll have a wealth of information that we don't have. And the last thing that you want to do after a lobby visit is always follow up. Send an email or a letter with a follow-up of what you did during the meeting, any important information that they asked for, and other times that you can meet with this the person you're lobbying. Include any information that you promised, and sometimes you can just invite the member over to the campus to have an event with them and to continue the relationship with them. It's always great to build a personal relationship with these members that you're trying to lobby.
So we're just going to finish up our presentation with a few reminders about next Tuesday. So some of you who haven't heard back yet about when your lobby visit is, you will be hearing hopefully by the end of this week, either from me or Emily. So all of you should be scheduled for Tuesday, December 10th. Another thing is, please remember to schedule your pre-lobby visit meeting with Lobby Corps. I know there is some confusion about how to sign up and like who is attending these meetings, but it should be your entire lobby visit group. So if some of these senators are lobbying together, you should coordinate with those other senators what day works for all of you, so you can all come to the same meeting. And only one person signs up on behalf of that person. Another thing is, a member of Lobby Corps may be joining your lobby visit group, depending on how many people are in your group. We will be also sending out a post-lobbying survey just to get your feedback on how we helped you in the process of lobbying, and just so we can improve the work that we do. And finally, if you didn't get a chance to sign up to lobby this semester, or if you just are so excited about lobbying, you can join us at Student Lobby Conference next semester. And I could give you all my email if you're interested in that. So we're open to questions now. If you have any.
Questions for our presenters from the Senate. Senator Padilla.
I had a quick question about the one-pager. What kind of information was supposed to be in it? Is it just reference material, like background sources, or is it follow-up questions? Or yeah, could you just speak more about that?
Yeah, so the one pager should essentially just be a summary of the issue that you're talking about and the argument that you're making about it. So like the top part will just be information, could be graphs, could be statistics about that, and then at the bottom it's saying that we, the ASUC senators, take this position on it and would like you to vote this way or that way.
Thank you.
Yeah, we will, so the importance of the pre-lobby visit meeting is so we can provide you with these resources. If you are lobbying on one of the UCSA campaigns, for example, we will have that prepared for you and we'll give it to you. We will also have slides ready to discuss with you, so you will be ready for your lobby visit.
Senator Feinman?
Yeah. So my question is, if we're lobbying people who are representatives who are not, like, we're not their constituents, or we're not in their district, do we have to like change our rhetoric at all? Because I mean, we're not like, we don't have like power to say we vote against, like, you know what I mean? There's not the same sort of leverage as if you're lobbying your own congressperson or representative.
So it definitely is important to lobby your specific representatives, but oftentimes you can't, especially since we go to UC Berkeley, some of us may not come from here. So if you're lobbying someone who's not your representative, it's important to phrase it like, how would constituents in their area be affected by this? And that's where doing research on the issue would come in hand.
If we're like lobbying Pelosi, who's in San Francisco, that's something that we have to like factor into kind of the dialogue that we create with her or her staff members?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Senator Lee? Oh, no more questions? Okay. Senator Truax?
Also, like, there's a bunch of students that we, as senators, represent in each district. So you can just speak on behalf of students also, and I feel like that you could phrase it like that as well. Yeah.
Any other questions from the Senate? All right, if there are none, thank you so much for coming in. Cool. So we'll move briefly into legislative officer reports. I think we should only have a couple tonight, aside from the ones that are already in your binder. So let's welcome our Attorney General. Yay.
I don't know what you said.
Good evening.
evening, everyone. My report is fairly short because obviously we were gone for part of the week. So other than just the bills, obviously we're very, very hard at work over at Conrev. We have 5 bills that we're going to be talking about next week. Other than that, I've just been getting ready for elections, doing everything that I can to research the elections, Title IV, and trying to familiarize myself with a very, very, very exhaustive list of all the things that are in Title IV before we completely change it. But other than that, like I said, it's been really low-key. I don't really have anything other than what we've been doing in Conrev, and that'll be presented in the Conrev report. So are there any questions?
Questions for the Attorney General? All right, if there are none, thank you. Yes. Okay, so we'll continue moving down our list. These are for people who would like to report things other than what's in written reports or field questions. We have Solicitor General, Judicial Counsel, Elections Council Chair, Director of Cal Housing, Marketing and Communications Director. Okay.
Hi everyone. I think everything's in my report. I just have one thing to add. I'm meeting with Joel and the marketing people at ASUC Auxiliary this week, and we're working on rebranding the logos and some of the other style guide stuff for ASUC. So one thing we're going to be doing is making a standardized set of documents to use for ASUC. So that's things like newsletters and kind of letterheads, that kind of thing. I was wondering if any of you have any input in if you need any documents or anything like that that need to be standardized, or if you've had any issues with that in the past. Nope.
Can we just get back to you?
Yeah. Yeah, you can email me, mcd@asuc.org.
Yeah, Senator Week?
It might be cool if we had a standardized Facebook profile picture or a Facebook cover photo, so that you could add your event or something and it already had the ASUC logo on it or something.
Yeah.
Everything on it.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that. Anything else?
Other questions, comments? All right, if there are none, thank you, Joe. So we have Greek Affairs Officer, who I don't think is here, Superb Representative Services Board Director, that's also supposed to be 2 separate lines. Director of Environmental Sustainability, anything separate from your report? Okay. So we'll now then move into standing committee reports, starting with Constitutional and Procedural Review.
Hi everybody, welcome back. So for Conrev, we did pass SB 62 with amendments, which is now on consent calendar. We talked about election bylaws, which we will be discussing on an official bill next week, and also a very fruitful conversation about institutional memory and how we can be more, accountable, but also to have more transition towards each senator, but also elected officials and appointed officials, and making sure our ASUC has the proper knowledge here and there. Okay, that's all
We'll move on next to Finance Committee. And just for committee members, if it's not clear, please report out the bills that you passed and with amendments, because I don't think everything is represented under consent calendar right now.
Just check glasses. Hi everyone. So we had our finance meeting last week as well, just because we wanted to get stuff out the way. So Karen's checking the SB number on that because I don't know it, unfortunately, but I can tell you what passed. It was $27,000. JK. It was $1,388. We'll have mess tonight, y'all. And the SB number was 64. And then 688 of that was out of contingency, and 700 of that was out of the space reservation fund. And the $27,074.76 is actually what's left in contingency for the semester. $21,858 is left in the space reservation fund, and $8,821.06 is left in Greek Opportunity Fund. We also passed SB 63, which is the bill in support of budget realignment of the ASUC that passed with amendments, and that's it. Any questions?
Questions for Finance Committee Chair? Senator Woche?
Can you repeat the number for space contingency?
The space reservation fund or contingency? It's 21,858.
Great. So we'll then move on into University and External Affairs.
Whoa. So SB 60, a bill in response to Cal's drinking problem, passed with an amendment. SB 61, a resolution of the Associated Students of the University of California, Berkeley, to the Governor of the State of California and the state legislature in supporting the banning of fracking in California, passed external. And the bill in regards to the dorm move-out dates was tabled to next week, or to next semester. Or no, tabled indefinitely, sorry, yeah.
And SB 61 was with or without amendments?
It was without amendments.
Great.
Sorry, can you just reread that one, please? I missed it somewhere.
It's on the agenda.
That's
okay.
Thank you.
So, if those are all the committee reports, the Senate bills that we have for this week are SB 60 passed with amendments, SB 61, SB 62 with amendments, 63 with amendments, and 64 with amendments, and that is our consent calendar for this week. Are there any bills that senators need to pull from consent calendars?
So I had a clarification from External Affairs, because you said you mentioned bills that were tabled, but you didn't mention two of the bills I know that I said I wanted to table. Okay, all right, just want to clarify. All right, cool.
Okay. So, bills pulled from consent calendar?
Hi, can we pull SB 63?
Yes, that's
64.
64 is the
budget
bill?
realignment.
Sorry, what is it?
The budget realignment one?
Okay, that's 63, I think. For now.
63. I thought it was 63.
It's possible.
It says 64.
We have a little bit of confusion, so whichever one it is. I thought it was 63. What's the 64?
Okay, so the budget realignment bill has been pulled from consent calendar. If there are no other bills to pull, then they will remain in consent calendar and we'll move on. So the budget realignment bill is now in immediate consideration, and the bills that are considered under consent calendar have been passed unanimously by consent of the Senate. I know we have members of the public here. If you all want to give any brief comments, we have public comment cards that you can fill out if you want to say anything to the Senate. That's totally fine also if you don't. So Senator Mojave, since you pulled SB 64, do you want to talk about that?
Sorry, 64 or 63? I've heard
Apologies, it is 63.
Okay, 63. Okay, so well, for those of you who do not know, the budget realignment bill went through FICOM. It's just to update the operational costs of what the ASUC does. The reason I pulled it isn't because there's anything wrong with the bill. We just have to update some stuff on it. So a young lady named Jessica Solomon last year got granted some money out of the Greek Opportunity Fund, and there were some complications at the end of last year, so she didn't get the money. So we're just adding on a line item, a small line item for her, just so she can get the money that she was already allocated last year. So I would can I motion now to do that? So I motion to add whereas clause. Do you have that? Good to go?
Yeah.
Okay, so right at the end of the whereas clauses, can we add whereas Sigma Kappa Sundays was sponsored and allocated $500 from the Greek Opportunity Fund during the spring 2013 semester through SB 190, a bill in support of Sigma Kappa Sundays. And then there's a second whereas.
Can you just start over so we can type?
Yeah. Do you want me to just okay,
We can
I'll read
send
it.
this to you.
Can I just read it off and then I'll send it to you?
If you can send it and then read it, that would be ideal.
Send it and then read it?
Yeah, or
Dennis, just send it to them now.
Dennis, can you send it to them and I'll just read it off right now? All right, so I'm just going to start over and read it out. Just read it out. Whereas Sigma Kappa Sundays was sponsored and allocated $500 from the Greek Opportunity Fund during the spring 2013 semester through SB 190, a bill in support of Sigma Kappa Sundays. next whereas due to an administrative error on behalf of the lead center and the ASUC Secretariat, Jessica Solomon was unable to be reimbursed for expenses incurred for Sigma Kappa Sundays. And then at the end of the therefore be it resolves, we should add, therefore be it resolved, the ASUC Senate reallocates $500 to Sigma Kappa from the Greek Opportunity Fund to reimburse Jessica Solomon.
Okay. There's been a motion and a second to add those to the bill. Are there any objections to the motion? Any abstentions? We have one abstention, so the motion carries. We'll now move on to, I guess, voting on the motion, or on the bill rather, if there are no other changes that need to be made. So is there a motion to pass the SB 63, the budget realignment bill as amended?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and it's been seconded. All those opposed? Abstentions? Great, motion carries. Thank you all. We have no old business, as far as I know. Are there any special committee reports that need to be made? All right, if there are no special committee reports, ASUC representative reports? I don't think we have any. And if there are no representative reports, then we will move into elected official announcements for what I believe is our record shortest meeting for this semester.
Dennis screwed up the budget bill. Did you adjourn?
No. Elected official announcements. Let's start on Senator Chow's side. Okay, moving down the line.
Hold on one second. Okay, for those of you keeping track at home, tonight is the 8th and final night of Hanukkah. It's the Jewish Festival of Lights, commemorating some miracle that happened a couple thousand years ago. Additionally, just a couple of announcements from Cal Athletics about events that are going on this week. So on Saturday, December 7th, the men's soccer team is hosting the NCAA Elite 8 game against Maryland at 1:30 p.m. It's like there's 8 teams left in the nation. We're one of them, so it's $5 for students, which is a good deal. Our team's really great, so if you want to support them, go to that game. Also, women's basketball is playing the University of Pacific from Stockton at Haas Pavilion on 2 p.m. Free for all students, also on Saturday. And then next Tuesday, December 10th, the men's team is playing versus Nevada Reno, not UNLV, Nevada Reno. Haas Pavilion, 8 p.m. That game is $7, or if you have season tickets, then that goes to the price. Also, I just want to say the joke that I was going to say earlier, that I didn't get a chance to say. Why did the farmer win an award? Because he's outstanding in his field.
What's up, y'all? I have just want to bring awareness to a recent issue that happened that affected the black community. There was an incident at San Jose State where a black student was getting what I'll call tormented in his dorm room by other students of a different race in the incident, and the black students at San Jose State didn't take the incident lightly, and then black organizers across the nation have been like riling up about this, trying to actually address this issue and actually do something about that. There's a bill that was that's co-sponsored by Senator Tan, Senator Quinn, and myself. Justin, is SB 75. I urge you all to take a look at it and inform yourself of the issue, and to be aware and understanding that racism still exists, that there's things that exist on this earth, and it's not necessarily something that's been something in the past, but it's something that's happening on campuses day to day, which is only in our backyard right here in San Jose. So I want to this incident makes me want to move forward to push more things about cultural competency, understand that needs to be more aware so when students are coming to the university to understand these issues, because these issues are still happening. Also, good luck with y'all on finals, get some rest, beat those finals, catch up on those classes, and good luck.
So
So from the entrepreneur community, Free Ventures, which is a startup decal that is hosted by Big Ideas, basically, and a couple students on Berkeley campus that are entrepreneurs. They have their demo day on December 9th at Berkeley Skydeck from 7 to 9. You can come check out all of the groups have been working on their startups, and this is where they promote them.
Hello, everyone, again. So some of you may know, but I'm pledging I'm pledging Delta Phi Epsilon. It's a foreign service fraternity. We're having a speaker panel tomorrow night. It's Identity, Politics, and Nationalism in the 21st Century. It's in 110 Barrows at 6. There's going to be food, so you should come because I have to bring people. So, yeah.
Hey, I hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving. Just had 3 quick announcements. So first, just want to invite you all. Nigerian Student Association is having their end of the year potluck this Friday, 121 Wheeler. Come through 6 to 9. Everyone is welcome, of course. Just bring something. Don't just come for food. Also, I had a question. Something we brought up in Congress. I wasn't sure. So in particular for the business group that you applied for through. CASF or whatever. So because we were discussing parts about trying to actually have them make an analysis about our current budget and seeing extrapolating to see what we need to fundraise in order to fund future student groups as they're coming in now. So I don't know how that would work out after the College budget.
I don't know that we need to use the money on that. My finance department has already done an analysis on the last 4 years of student group spending and can tell you which student groups spent what amount in a given year, and where surpluses and deficits come from in our budget for at least the last 4 years.
No, I mean, so for example, I don't know now, but I mean, just the fact that I guess if you're looking at the current budget or so, we don't really have that much wiggle room to fund, let's say, student groups at the same fair amount. So some student groups obviously have
So the reason that I bring that up though is that the ASUC, and this is a longer conversation than will happen right now. I'm just going to put that out there.
Okay.
The ASUC ends up with a surplus some years and a deficit other years, and as I expressed to you during Senate training, that has largely been a mystery to us as to why that happens, but now we know over several years which student groups and which ASUC programs overspend and underspend. And so we can now identify the programs that are consistently not spending the full amount that is allocated to them, which would in fact give us extra wiggle room if we were to take those programs even just to the highest point of spending that they had over the 4-year period. So that's an option, and that's something that will be taken up by Finance Committee when we have those numbers ready in the spring. And as far as how that money is going to be allocated, it's not intended to do an analysis of ASUC's budget. That's something that the auxiliary employees are supposed to be doing. If the question was about how to have ASUC fundraise or what types of grants or fundraising opportunities we should seek, that's something that is in line with the CACSF proposal. But again, I think this is something that should probably be taken up by Finance Committee in the spring.
It sort of a misclarification, but I'll talk to you offline about that. And then the last announcement I was going to make, the Center for African Studies, this Friday they're hosting an event where the recent president of Tanzania from 1985 to 1995 is coming to give a speech. I think it's going to be from 12 to 1 p.m. in the Townsend Center, from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. in the Townsend Center, and that is the the ex-president, the Honorable Ali Hassan Menigi, etc. So yeah, thank you.
Hi everyone. I just wanted to announce that Cal has introduced the food assistance program. So if you know any students who are undocumented or low income, it kind of functions like a budget appeal. So you would submit a form to the financial aid office, and they will grant you a partial meal plan, or they will allocate more money in your budget for food expenses. And I think that's really important that you all let your communities know, because a lot of the time it's really taboo to talk about the fact that we're broke college students. So if you all I'll forward y'all a link so that you all can send it out to your communities and let them know that there is this additional resource if you're low on money and can't afford to eat, because that is a real that's a reality for a lot of students on our campus.
Hey y'all, I just have 2 really quick
announcements. My office is going to be holding a study jam during our week, probably on the Wednesday, I'm not entirely sure, in QArc. So if you need a comfy place to study, you can come with us. And then we're also going to be watching Paris is Burning, which is a queer must. If you haven't seen it and want to learn more about my culture, come see it. I'll post about it on Facebook. And then if any of you need units next semester or looking for another class to take,
FemSex, female sexuality decal is a really, 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 really great class and is really important for everyone, I think. I wish it could be mandatory, but alas. So if you or anyone you know wants 3 units for not that much work, but you can learn a whole lot from not a lot of work and get a lot of units, look into that next year.
Hi everybody, just 4 quick announcements. First one is on SB2. I'm sure that Nicolette has sent you the Judicial Council advisory opinion on SB2. So formally, the ASUC is binded to the vote of no confidence on Janet Napolitano. So I will send out an email about what that means moving forward for our ASUC, as well as, since I'm sure people will be asking you what that means for our student body. Secondly, thank you to everybody who have supported Act for the Philippines. We're now at around $4,500 in relief effort donations. Also, I have MMBC tickets right here, so I see all of you, so hopefully you can buy a ticket. MMBC is this Saturday, December 7th at 5 p.m. Lastly, on our recent presentation on Forward Us, I just want to make a brief comment about e-verification and what that means for communities, especially immigrant communities, and to challenge our thoughts about that particular case. E-verification is basically a system in which your social security number is verified to be true, but this has been very problematic in immigrant communities just because it's replaced physical raids, which is when ICE officers actually come into your home and take away families and separate families. They've taken away that specific portion of immigration and custom enforcement and replaced it with E-Verify, which now they call is like a silent raid, in which you will lose your job through E-Verification if your social security number does not match what is on the system. And also in terms of immigration reform and border security, we should really be cognizant of the fact that a lot of the talks for immigration reform is about border security and militarization of the border, and just to be cognizant of which companies, although Forward Us does support comprehensive immigration reform, what does that really mean for communities, especially if it cannot address the militarization of the border and its correlation with like high-tech companies, as well as like questions about skilled and unskilled workers. So that was another question in which like who are we prioritizing when we say we want to give a pathway to citizenship, just because a lot of the talks has been on opening up visa programs, but not for unskilled workers, but highly skilled workers that is not particularly a part of the 11 million undocumented immigrants in the United States.
So from the dance community, this Sunday, December 8th, AFX will be having their showcase at 7 in Zellerbach Hall. And then the Thrive Dance Company will be having their showcases Saturday and Sunday, December 7th and December 8th, both at 6:30 and Hearst 2:30 on Saturday and Hearst 2:37 on Sunday. And then also, as I mentioned in the special order I gave the week before Thanksgiving, we have officially announced the Cal Athletics Student Group in-game recognition program, partnering with ASUC and Cal Athletics. And since we're all senators and we all have constituencies and student groups that we represent, I'd really appreciate it if you could all reach out. I sent you all an email with all the information. It's really easy. You just fill out that form, send it to the emails that are listed, and you can get a special shout out on the PA just about your student group to promote what they're doing, or even if you have an upcoming event or fundraiser, and you can actually set up a table outside Haas Pavilion and sell tickets or raise money, and you'll have access not only to the students, but to Cal fans and donors and alumni, which is really awesome.
Yeah, no, really good job on that. I was going to ask, because I know because football season is over, right? But I know there's still basketball season, but they don't really make that many announcements like that during the basketball game. So I don't know, is that something that's just, I guess?
I would like to invite you all to talk about this offline if it's going to be a project that you're going to work on about this.
Okay.
sure Senator Week can answer those questions for you. All right. Other announcements? All right. If there are no other announcements and there are no objections, the meeting will be adjourned at 8:59. Congratulations. Thank you all. See you next week.
Roll call.
Oh, final roll call. I got too excited that we were ending that early. Okay. Senator Chow, Senator Chung, Senator Feinman, Senator Iwoma, Senator Kong, Senator Lee, Senator Mohabbat, Senator Mullen, Senator Roche, Senator Pacheco, Senator Pandya, Senator Quinn, Senator Shen, Senator Snow, Senator Tan, Present, Senator Truax, Senator Upadhyayula, Senator Week, Senator Wu. Senator Wu? Oh, he had to leave. All right, thank you, everyone. He had to